So I think we need to look, because it is so easy, and especially in our community, in a quick judgment. Because this is the thing: not everybody is a Christian, not everybody is a Muslim. There are people who are traditionalists who believe in polygamy, whatever. So to use one religious tenet to judge everybody, or use one aspect of culture to judge everybody, I think is rather unfair. It's not right, and I think it's polarizing. But that's my thoughts. So I'll just throw that back to you there. I just wanted us to consider those things. So who wants
Okay,
to
so
kick off?
Yeah, that's
first and foremost, let's get something
Okay,
straight.
okay.
Before religion came in, we had our systems there. Huh? Either way, either of the concept, deadbeat father, or there being a deadbeat father or being a baby mama was never acceptable. So let's get that out of the way. This has nothing to do with religion telling us what to do. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. Let's not muddle it up.
Okay, thank you very much for your views. I want to put this out here. Let's look at these situations. Now, a lot of m- a lot of men in our parents' time and even our time, I think it's starting to change to a certain extent. A lot of men were brought up where they were the golden children in the house. They didn't do anything. They woke up in the morning, had breakfast, put on their clothes, went out of the house. Nobody knew where they went. They were having a great time. Their sisters were the ones cleaning the house, because he's the son of the house, so he's the man of the house, blah, blah, blah. And the values about being a man, because number one, the dad is rarely around. Because think about it, a lot of women married men who are much older than them in our mother's generation. So most of the time, during the man's active years, he's always away at work. And most of the time, the mothers were at home, or they did jobs that brought them home on time to
early.
be with the kids. So the man is rarely around to be an example to his sons. Generally, now not everyone, but I'm just saying generally. Then when these children start to become young adults, this man has now advanced in age, so he really can't be shouting at anybody anymore, bro. So he's just sitting there, bring food, he eats, he watches television, he goes and plays draft with his friends. So the boys are usually raised by their mothers, or they raise themselves, or they're raised by older, like men within, like, just maybe a decade older than them in the community, and not really that example of this is how to be a man. And then, of course, they grow up. They've been told that they're the golden children, that they're walking around with golden seeds in their loins, and they can spread it as much as they want, and all of that. And you will actively see where a girl will come to a guy's house and say, your son slept with me. And the mother will be like, God forbid, you're not bringing any nonsense into my house. My son cannot touch someone. And instead of making people take responsibility for the things that they have done, parents will actively cover up or actively deny on behalf of their children. And when your mother is already shouting on your behalf that, no, you are my son is more, of course he too is going to go, no, I didn't touch her, and all that stuff. So that's with the men. Now, when we look at the girls also, girls, were basically, but is more of recently that we are encouraging girls to be go-getters, to have a job, to have businesses. It was very much a, you grow up, you get to a certain age, they palm you off to a man. You're no longer a problem, you're now his problem. And yeah, as soon as you get married, the very next day after your wedding, they're already looking at your stomach. When are the babies coming? They've already defined what you are supposed to be doing with your life. So we find women who, they will meet a guy. I talked about how I almost fell into, well, I didn't almost fall into it because I was like, Laila is not happening. But where it was brought to me that, oh, let's get married, and then the person is going to go off abroad, and then me, I'll be waiting in Nigeria. If we had married and he had slept with me and I had gotten pregnant and he had gone off and then never showed off, what have I become? Baby mama. But legally married baby mama. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there are many.
You are mama baby.
There are many legally married baby mamas whose baby daddies are nowhere to be seen because they've gone off for greener pastures, they've gone and married for papers, or gone and found new life or whatever. So there's so many ways that this thing. Then of course in fact, this whole sleeping with an artist or a famous person to make a baby, to be honest, because even in our parents' days, when the artist slept, that was why I was asking the question, that an artist will sleep with a girl and he wouldn't know the girl he slept with, because even in the days of them, Baba, Sonia Ade and all of that, when they sleep with the women, they know who they slept with. They know that, yes, I slept with this one. So when the girl comes and says, this one, that one, that one, that one, hey, we know that, okay, this has happened. And because again, polygamy was something that was okay back then. Nobody really had much to say against it. It's now that people be like, no, we're not doing polygamy. But back then, a man could have as many wives. So, okay, you're pregnant, join them now. No problem. There are already 3 waiting in the house. Go and join them. Since we have a child, we have MK Abiola. How many? Only God knows how many children that one has all over the place. They said he will identify his children by their ears. They'll be like, oh yeah, let me see the child's ears. Yes, that's my own. Oh yeah, go and join them. So it wasn't like so if this whole Davido, forgive me, is your name that they be saying, so I'll call your name. So like, oh, Davido, then I want to see, and Davido wants to know who he slept with. I'm sorry, I may come across as very naive, but it's strange to me that will happen. It's strange to me that a man will sleep with a woman and he won't even know that this is someone I slept with because, well, I'm a star or whatever. So I think we need to look, because it is so easy, and especially in our community, in quick judgment. Because this is the thing: not everybody is a Christian, not everybody is a Muslim. There are people who are traditionalists who believe in polygamy, whatever. So to use one religious tenet to judge everybody, or use one aspect of culture to judge everybody, I think is rather unfair. It's not right, and I think it's polarizing. But that's my thoughts. So I'll just throw that back to you there. I just wanted us to consider those things. So who wants to
Okay.
speak up?
Yeah, that's
First and foremost, let's get something
Okay.
straight.
Okay.
Before religion came in, we had our system there. Huh? Either way, either of the concept, deadbeat father, or there being a deadbeat father or being a baby mama was never acceptable. So let's get that out of the way. This has nothing to do with religion telling us what to do. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. Let's not muddle it up. We had sense before the white people came to Africa. We were doing things.
Definitely.
Yeah, we had sense in our own way. We were doing our own things. We had our morals. In fact, most of those morals have gone through the window as we speak now. We have our morals. Now, I agree with. Okay, I call you. Shall I call you Bimbola? And Abi, so that I don't
Abi.
confuse you.
Abby. Okay. Okay.
So I don't confuse. So I agree with what Abi said to some extent that most of these things didn't start now. That it's a derivative of something that
Yeah.
was before their time. And even in the truth of what she's saying, it still brings up back to the square one of the issues that something went wrong along the line, along our practice. We had a, I won't say there's no perfect system in the world, but we had a very, very, very upright moral system
Yeah.
before now. I'll give you a classical example. Discipline, the disciplining of a child in the African environment was a community effort. It wasn't just your parent. Your parent didn't have to be there for you to be disciplined. If you cross the line and the community accepts that what you've done is wrong, they'll discipline you before they see your parents. And when your parents come, you dare not even mention it because you receive another one. Now that's out of the way. This is the thing here. This thing is progressing to the point whereby this thing is now people are now accepting these terminologies and they are bragging. In fact, that's where I draw the line. It's not about pitying the victims now. It's not about people doing it and making it look as if, oh, okay,
It's
it's a
okay.
status, yeah, it's a status symbol. It is not. If you find yourself in that condition by a means beyond your power, yes, we feel sorry for you. How do we fix it? How do we move on from this bad situation? Then, if there's counseling, like Abimbola said, let there be counseling. If there needs to be any way to package the person so the person does not lose focus because of that hiccup, it's fine for me. I am okay. But what I think is not right is for us to think that is being modern. Being modern is by being is by
Stupid.
celebrating these things we're talking about. It's not meant to be celebrated. Why would I want to celebrate? Why would somebody who is supposed? Okay, okay, fine. Like Abibola said, maturity, and he didn't know better. Okay, let's classify it as immaturity. But then again, we are talking about human beings here. I don't know. I don't know of another way to run away from this because the thing is so deep. You know, it's not as simple as I would like to dismiss it. It's deep. It's really, really deep. We're talking about another human being who
Life.
has the
Yeah.
potential to be a leader. And this is the reason why we're having the kind of leaders we have in the society. And people keep thinking that these leaders come from Mars. They don't come from Mars. Any leader you get in your society is a manifestation of what was already there. Nobody is coming from space, from UK or America. Come from wherever you are. It is what this society spits out that it takes, you know. So to some extent, I'm against the glorifying or glamorizing of these terminologies. If somebody finds himself in the situation, maybe not by their will, okay, fine. And yeah, how do we help the person? How do we set the person up in such a way that the person moves past that stage of his or her life? No, sorry, her life in the case of women. But for deadbeat dad, being a deadbeat dad, I don't see, to be sincere with you, I really find it difficult to sympathize with deadbeat dad because sometimes you think being a father is all about money. It's not about money. Sometimes, even if you are broke as a pauper, or
Mm.
you're a junkie, or just show up. Just show up. You don't need the money, just show up. That's for me. That's the way I see it. You don't need
Same
money
here.
to be a father. The child, children are so sensitive that when you show love to them, they recognize it. Even when you don't have money, your child will know you don't have money. You don't have to run away. Even if the mother and her mother's family are buying designers for him, and you go to one cheap place, that child have that tendency. I don't know, most kids. I'm not saying it's all low, but most kids have the tendency to appreciate that stuff that the father sweated for to get to him or her. They appreciate it, and some kids don't even want anything. They just want to be seeing this person and say, "Hey, daddy." That's all, and they're happy. And it helps them psychologically because when they see their parents around, this one's father is coming. I'm talking about those whose fathers are still alive. not those who has passed on. But I'm saying those that are available. That's why we're talking about deadbeat dad. I think we need to change this culture. It's not helping. It's not a modern thing, and it's not helping anybody. It's destabilizing the society more and more. It's destabilizing, and we need to talk about it. We don't need to coin it in another way, or with polish it or paint it or make it look nice. For the issue of baby mama, yeah, I just gave excuses for that. But that deadbeat that one, we need to really talk about it.
Okay.
It's something we need to talk about. So that's
So
my submission.
sorry, I was eager
Do
to
you
jump.
type
Before we lost control, because I believe we've lost control now. Back then, a man has kids. Those days, men could tell if they were strong enough up to it or not. They could tell. They didn't need anybody to tell them. So you see this father sending off these stubborn kids or whatever kids they have off to an older brother or another relative that with somebody that is manly enough that is going to be able to inculcate what he feels he cannot put in the child.
Okay.
So you
Ron,
see,
can I stop you there? Can I
yeah,
just stop you there? The reason now the example you are giving is a fantastic one, but do you know that from those strong men or strong relatives, that's where abuse started from? Do you know that?
yes.
Okay, go on.
Okay. So no, we are going to come into abuse later on, but I just want to state how these things were solved then. So you have them sending off their kids to these people. Even till this day, you go to people's homes, a child is misbehaving, they say, "Oh, I'm sending you to Uncle Agbaja's house next week." Then you just see the child adjust, or maybe it's a mom, a single mom who doesn't have without a father. Maybe the father is late or something. They just say, "Oh, you failed in your test, you didn't do well, and you're a truant and all that. I am sending you to Uncle Agbaja." Then immediately you just see that brain reset taking place. Like, mommy, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. This is that. Back then, I used to see those things. It's no more like that again. All these things I'm saying, they are no more in existence. It's free for all. Everybody's on autopilot. It's free for all now. You can't even correct a kid anymore. That's what I'm talking about.
Ron, people don't want to send their kids to any auntie like Waja, whatever, because we found out with a lot of people in our generation, and even some people in the generation after us, and some people in the generation before, that a lot of abuse happens. It's not even, we're not even talking sexual abuse, like psychological abuse, physical abuse, where some kids were, had marks broken bones, or again, any kind of mental torture in the name of, oh, you were sent to me for me because that person then can start looking at themselves like some kind of demigod, that I can do whatever I want to do with you. Your parents sent you to me to come and get training, and therefore I can do whatever I want. And then some of those things become sadistic. They become like really evil in the name of, I'm training this child. So that's why a lot of people don't send their kids to
Sorry,
anybody
Abby,
anymore.
Abby, let's not be careful to generalize the example you gave. Remember that the example you are giving is in the lower percentage. Not everybody that went off for training came back scarred.
So
You were here when PK was talking about the man who sent him to school and how he idolizes and how he idolizes the guy till this day. It's not everybody. Bad things happen to good people, whether or not you're in a good setting or a bad setting. We can't escape these things. They all, even when you protect your own child, don't go out, don't mix with this, don't talk to that person. You find out that the day the child decides to wander to go and watch television somewhere, something happens.
so Ron, going back to my question. So what I was thinking is, I'm saying that is there a place where people learn how to be good parents? So you gave me an example saying that back in the days, people have, relatives where they can send that children
Yeah.
first, the children at the concert. And so that is also shifting responsibility to another person. And I'm saying that this all begins from awareness of
Mm-hmm.
male and female. if we run away from the dogma of boy meets girl, girl meets boy, and the next thing is that 6 months after we want to get married with no clue, and the parent or family member has no question to have to say, oh, they love each other, they need to get married. If we move away from those nonsense, right, then we start thinking as humans. Now, a child that has never lived alone before, I'm talking of a female child now, they've always been lived, they're like, like chicken that you want to cage somewhere. They've never lived away from the home before. The only opportunity they had is probably to go to uni or college or whatever, diploma, whatever, and they finish, they go back to their cage, right? And that child, rather than allowing that child to grow into adulthood, because automatically people are supposed to grow as they grow older, they're supposed to develop, even though scientifically we know that some people still have mental illness that will not make them to develop. Okay? We know that they see any deadbeat father that is deadbeat, there's something wrong with him psychologically. He's not a normal human being. It needs to be diagnosed. They need to have a look at him. Because if you follow, I don't like why Sean is laughing. Seriously, there is a mental illness. And it's vice versa. Any woman that has a husband, like somebody that's really looking after the children, and there is no abuse, and there is nothing, and she just woke up one day and said, oh, I don't like my husband anymore, I just want to go. Even though I know that most women don't fall into that category, but let's assume they do. If you do that, there is clear sign of mental illness, which is what Nigerians don't like because they see it as a way to excuse. But if you diagnose those people, I'm not a doctor, okay? If you diagnose those people properly, you will know that there is a sign of psychosis or a kind of illness that people need to go and actually look at them, because they cannot be normal and have a child and then leave the child and not look after the children. All right? But let's look at it from this angle. Do we like to talk about sex, for instance? Oh, sorry, SCS, let me not say sex. Do we like to talk about it? Do we even mention?
Feel free.
Feel free. Do we even mention it? So, if we are still in that generation that they must off lights before they do, how would you now not know when a child comes and all that? If you are still in that generation that you'd be like, okay, let's not talk about it. So, what's this? Oh, it's private part. What's that? No, it's not called private part. It's you name the name. If you're still in that generation, okay, and we all of a sudden we all act childish, and then automatically something just makes you go, because you have a child now, you're now a parent. It doesn't happen like that. That's why we are different from our white counterparts. So we need to run from girl meets boy syndrome. You see a girl, a typical, and I'm sorry if I'm generalizing now, but you ask a typical Nigerian man, or probably men, and say, why do you want to get married? I get married like this. My wife will be cooking for me. Oh, my wife will be doing this for me. Those kind of childish, babyish mentality, what will it bring out? Tell me. So if you have what's that thing? Prince love mentality. Oh, Cinderella. Oh yeah, it's my prince. No common sense. What would happen when those kind of human beings, when they give birth to a child? So we have to start from the root by knowing that, okay, let us educate the people within our own parameters. Let people know, so we can say, oh, this person is a deadbeat father. Okay, why is this person? What do you need to do? How many deadbeat fathers do you know? Have you had opportunity to talk to them? Or you're just going to say, oh, it's not good to be a deadbeat father. But really, you that is talking about somebody being deadbeat fathers, you're not dead. You live inside the house with your child, but you don't even know anything about that child. And you're seeing the deadbeat fathers. So it's easy to name names. It's easy to point fingers, but we all need to go back to our drawing board and be the change we want to see in the world. So that's why I wouldn't say, oh, these deadbeat mothers, or we all, because this is as a result of faulty background. We are all taking water from the same pot. So automatically, somehow, we will be acting the same way. Only slight people, maybe luck, maybe chances, will make some people different. But we can do better by educating ourselves, by educating the people around us, by educating our children, our communities. I hope somebody's watching this and thinking, okay, what can I do to that baby father? What can I do to that baby mother? Just to say, you're a bad man. You are a baby father. You left your children. You shouldn't do that. No. Is there anything? What do you know the benefit? What's the benefit of you looking after your child? A lot of men, they are left in the what's it called? They are left in a place where they're being kept there, even abroad, because they've never looked after their children. And so when they grow older, they tend not to see anyone to look after them. Okay? And I'm not saying the people that look after their children, there's an automatic wherever that their children are going to look after them, but just do the good, what you have gained from your parents, or what you have seen the society teaching you. Be the change you want to be in the world. You want to see in the world. So I am saying, I'm making conscious effort to myself to say that when I see a deadbeat father, or maybe people that they are thinking differently, making conscious effort to say that, you know what, I understand. It's not easy. I could have been raped many years ago by somebody, and the person that could have raped me is still on Facebook. Is a professor. So if I come out tomorrow now, let's say I had raped me, and I said, oh, baby mother, somebody would have blamed me. Particularly, why did I go to where he raped me? Why was I there? What did I do? Even my parents at the time, they couldn't even believe me that this person was about to molest me. Okay? And he's alive. And he's a church member, a strong church person. And if I come out with my claim now, somebody's going to say, so what could have happened to me? I could have been that baby mama. Through no fault of my own. But it's not enough reason. I'm going to say something wrong before I round off. Is that you said certain things that these people, the way that they do their things, maybe baby mama is not something to be proud about. You see, many years ago, when bad things happen to people, they go into the shell. Some people suffer from suicidal thoughts. Some people suffer from a lot of depression. Some people suffer from a lot of mental illness and so on. But nowadays, what people do is that, you know what, this is me. If there's nothing, even though somebody might be making it look like it's a pride thing, but people who are sensible know that there's nothing to be proud about being a baby mama. But the thing is, even if they're saying it, they are only trying to how will I put it now? I'm looking for
psych themselves up.
Exactly. So we can't be angry that they are doing that to themselves. It's just us telling the people that try and avoid this path. It's a lonely road. It's not an easy path. It's not a path that people come out and say, oh, this is what it is. It's so easy if I jump in there. No. We can say that, but that doesn't mean that the people that find themselves there, they should not be like, okay, because something has happened to you, that's the end of your life. So they can come out and brag to be anything that they want to brag at. I'm sorry.
You weren't listening to me at all.
Okay, go on.
You misconstrued what I said.
Okay.
Remember, even while I was saying it, I kept sympathizing with people who had no business being baby, like people who it happened to. Right? Sorry? Yeah?
Ron, hold on. Let me try. Ron, let me cut you. Let me just stop you there. You know why? I want to be the person to try and kind of explain so that Abimbola would actually realize that let me help you out. Now Abimbola, Ron isn't saying those that are baby mamas or anything. He's not blaming them per se. What he's saying is don't come out and give people the opinion that this is cool, this is okay.
Okay.
Because if we say let's allow them, let's encourage it, so to speak, there is someone out there who doesn't know right from wrong and who think this is a way of life and so fall into the same thing. So it's not as if one is castigating or blaming them outright. Obviously, some or most of them were due to mistakes or something beyond their control. But don't make it look as if it's okay, because the problem will continue to.
So what should they do if they find themselves in that situation without looking like they are flaunting it?
Okay, now
exactly, like flaunt it. It's nothing. You have said
no. You said it. One said they flaunted. They are flaunting their citizens.
Don't do that. It's wrong.
No, what I'm saying, what can they do that will not make it look like they are flaunting their status? Abi,
okay,
their baby mama status.
Now, this is the thing. If you find yourself now, let's talk about the intentional one, the ones that want to be David.
Let's finish this one first. Then we go to the one.
We are still saying it's the same thing. Now, I'm against the intentional people who go out to become baby mamas, then become baby mamas, then come and glamorize it.
How did somebody intentional? So they are going intentional to become baby mama, and the baby father who is responsible, when they are doing the do, he was sleeping. He didn't know that they are taking something from him to become baby mama intentionally. He didn't know this.
Okay, again, I don't want to call names again because it lets it not look as if I have a problem with my main man, Davido. I don't have a problem with Davido. I don't have a problem with Two-Face. But that's not the issue. The issue is this. Women, sometimes, I know you're a decent person, but not everybody thinks like you.
You can't tell if I am. So I look just like every other person. No, I'm just saying. There's no for sentimental value purposes. You can't tell.
For the purpose of this podcast.
Yeah, presentation. Yes.
Okay. I'm painting you as an angel now.
You are painting me as an angel. I'm not. Go on.
I'm just letting you guys talk because, as I said, I really don't have much to contribute. And apart from that, I must confess I'm struggling with my health a bit. I'm in a lot of pain. So forgive me, but continue. I'm listening to you guys.
Okay. Now, for the purpose of this debate, let's just say you're an angel for the purpose.
Okay.
There are people who go out of their ways to achieve this feat. Okay? When I say go out of their ways to achieve this feat, it starts with I'm not ready to be a father. Me too, I'm not ready to be a mother. Okay, let's go. Do you use contraceptive? Yes, now I use contraceptive all the time. Can't you see my my contraceptive injection card? Okay, then foolishly and they go ahead and something comes out of it. And it's like, I don't want this baby or terminate this baby. Say no, I'm not terminating. How can I have a seed of this celebrity and I'll come and terminate it? Never. Then this thing goes on. And in most cases, these people they are keeping the babies for are even married with families. It's okay, we are going to keep the baby. Now you have the baby. Under that circumstances, now nobody can play God. It has happened. Why then still go out in public to glorify, glamorize it? That you see, that's the problem. You don't know it happens. It's happening. People are glamorizing their statuses as baby mamas. That's what I'm complaining about.
But all I'm saying is that a bad situation happened. Have you not seen motivational speakers before? They say, turn your lemon to lemonade. So it's a bad situation and they want to, come out and say, okay, after this lemon, this lemon has turned to lemonade for them. See, all I'm saying is that we can't hold people to do whatever they can brag about. Now,
You want to know the danger of that? What is
the danger of it?
Are you aware that if I see a poor, now let's be practical now, I'm a rich celebrity, I see a poor bread seller hawking bread and I impregnate her and she's carrying my seed, automatically she becomes a celebrity because now she's the one carrying this guy's seed. Now she comes publicly on the social media to say, I'm carrying this person's child, though. I'm now a baby mama. I'm his baby mama. She didn't even say I'm his fiancé, girlfriend, anything. She openly tells you I'm his baby mama. What do you think the ones that are finishing secondary school and coming up, listening to all these things will do?
So that's why we say, that's why I was saying something about we need to now, it's our responsibility, not social media's responsibility. It's our responsibility to train our children. Now, I've got a 14-year-old, and I saw something online on Facebook one day where an adult, I will use, maybe I hate to be about 35 or 37, she's a lady, she's never gotten married before, and she got catfish. Catfish is when you saw a scammer on the on internet. And I told my daughter to have a look at this information. What do you think and all that? She said, "Mommy, but this is so clear that this is catfish." Do you understand that at 14 she was able to say that this is catfish? Like if you go online, somebody's telling you something, blah 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 blah. She was going on and she was explaining it. As a matter of fact, this is how I did. Like, okay, she's not on Facebook. She's not, I'm begging her to go on Twitter or LinkedIn. She's not going there. But I'm saying, how did you know about it? They said they were taught in school. And I'm thinking, I think my own training, whatever, is a bit low. Thinking she wouldn't get there now. I don't have to train her about all those things now. But she already knows. Now, it is our duty to tell people, to know that not everything on social media is right. Is our duty, is our responsibility. It's like I tell, when my kids were young, I used to tell them, don't watch pirate movies, right? And I say that because I see that, when they watch it in the night, they start dreaming and they come up with all sorts of things. And because I say that, but on a particular day, they went to a pastor's house, quote and unquote, and they were watching witch, wizard, pirates, whatever. And they come to me, "Oh, Mommy, you're not a pastor." I said, "I know that. But this pastor person, supposedly a pastor, is watching all this private, whatever. They were even dressing up as that." And I said to her, "You cannot train people how they're going to act, how they're going to react, and what they're going to do." So if you have somebody on your WhatsApp, for instance, my kids are on WhatsApp, they have their phone, and the person is showing bomb. I'm not going to be talking to everybody showing bomb and say, "Stop showing bomb, stop it." All I'm going to say is that block that person that is showing that thing. Anything, take your mind. So that is where education comes through, because the world is going gaga, it's going crazy. You cannot stop people from expressing themselves. Talk is cheap. That's what they are doing. Do you understand? So we can, for all we care, we can say, "Oh, this fashion, this person is doing this person." People have to make a big deal out of whatever they are doing. Now, when Obi Kubana when he came out with his party and all that, while some people are like, "Oh, that's fantastic," "Oh, that's nonsensical," but it's anything that's happening on social media is a talking point for families to say that this is what I read here. Have you seen it? Do you know what this thing is wrong, is right? Do you know why it happened? Why should you be away from that? It's a talking point from household. So families that don't want their children to do that, they need to talk to them. The ones that want to continue in that way, in that manner, we can't stop them.
You're right.
So this is my own take. I'm not saying what they are doing is right.
It means we are on the same page then.
Yeah, I'm not saying what they are doing is right, but all I'm saying is that.
Give me five. Finally. I'm going to sleep well tonight.
Yeah.